As Ukraine battles Russia on the front lines, another silent war rages within, a war against corruption. Once celebrated as a reformist hero, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy now faces a crisis that cuts to the heart of Ukraine's democracy. Ukraine's top anti-corruption agency, NABU, the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, has sounded a chilling alarm. Courts are refusing to hear cases against Zelenskyy's loyalists. Justice is delayed, and the system that was supposed to protect reform is now accused of shielding the powerful. In the words of one official, the courts are holding Ukraine hostage. Welcome back to TFI Global. Let's break it down. Ukraine's fight against corruption began after the Euromaidan Revolution of 2014, a revolution that promised a clean European-style government. With Western support, two key institutions were born: NABU, the detective agency investigating high-level graft, and SAPO, the specialized anti-corruption prosecutor's office tasked with prosecutions. Alexander Klimenko, the head of SAPO, has warned that dozens of major corruption cases could collapse by 2026 and 2027, simply because courts aren't moving. Some hearings meet once a month for just 2 hours. Others haven't started at all. He said bluntly, someone must be held accountable. Why the delays? Many Ukrainians believe the answer lies in politics. Cases involving Zelenskyy's close allies seem to vanish into thin air. Take Deputy Prime Minister Oleksiy Chernyshov, accused by NABU of taking over $300,000 in kickbacks during reconstruction projects. Or Rostislav Sharma, a former Deputy Chief of Staff under investigation for influence peddling. Even Defense Minister Rustem Umerov is under scrutiny for abuse of power. And yet, none of these cases move forward. Earlier scandals like that of Oleh Tatarov, a top presidential aide accused of bribery, were quietly buried. NABU lost control of the case. It was transferred to the security service and then dropped. Zelenskyy came to power on a promise to fight corruption. Now, critics say his government has become the very system it vowed to dismantle. In July 2025, the crisis exploded. Zelenskyy signed Law 12414, a bill that effectively stripped NABU and SAPO of their independence, placing them under the Prosecutor General, a presidential appointee. That meant the president's office could access files, transfer or close cases, and even fire investigators. Human Rights Watch called it a devastating blow to Ukraine's reform effort. Reuters warned it was a step back from Europe. Zelenskyy defended the law as a wartime necessity, claiming he needed tighter control to stop Russian influence inside Ukraine's institutions. But Ukrainians weren't buying it. Within days, tens of thousands took to the streets in Kyiv, Odessa, and Lviv, shouting, "Corruption applauds," and "Shame." Veterans marched beside students and activists. One protester said, "We're dying for this country. Why should thieves rob it?" Under public and Western pressure, Zelenskyy backed down and promised to restore NABU's independence. But the damage was done. Trust was shattered. Even with independence restored on paper, Ukraine's courts remain a black hole for justice. Cases drag on for years. Judges retire, evidence expires, and witnesses disappear. The High Anti-Corruption Court, created to fast-track such trials, now handles mostly small-scale bribery, while major political cases rot in limbo. Klimenko revealed a shocking example. It took prosecutors 1.5 years just to read an indictment in one major case. He says this is not incompetence, it's a deliberate delay. Judges, fearing political retaliation or seeking favor, simply stall until the statute of limitations runs out. When that happens, the accused walk free. And the message to Ukrainians is clear. The system still protects its own. Ordinary Ukrainians are losing faith. Corruption now ranks as the second biggest national worry after the war itself. People see billions of dollars in foreign aid and reconstruction funds flowing in and fear it's being skimmed off by insiders. Transparency International still places Ukraine among the world's most corrupt states, 105th out of 180 nations. On social media, Zelenskyy is mocked as a reform pretender. Memes circulate showing him surrounded by untouchable loyalists. Veterans group says the government has become a hostage to its own courtiers. And yet, there are voices still fighting. The investigators, the prosecutors, and the protesters who refuse to give up on Ukraine's promise of justice. This battle isn't just about courtrooms, it's about Ukraine's future. If Kyiv cannot prove it can clean up its own house, European Union membership, one of Zelenskyy's biggest goals, will remain a distant dream. The European Union has already frozen $1.7 billion in aid over corruption concerns. Western backers are growing impatient. For Zelenskyy, it's a bitter irony. The president, who rose on promises of transparency, now faces accusations of shielding the very elite he once opposed. Alexander Klimenko, the man at the heart of this storm, says Ukraine's future depends on accountability. He's calling for independent wiretapping, fixed hearing timelines, and punishment for judges who delay justice. As he told reporters, any attempts to influence us are illegal. We must operate independently. In Kyiv's Maiden Square, graffiti reads, "Justice delayed is justice denied." For Ukraine, it's not just a slogan, it is a warning and a plea. As winter approaches and the war drags on, the question remains, will Zelenskyy's government free its justice system or remain its own hostage? Thanks for watching.